The chair scrapes behind you, before the woman across the table even finishes her sentence, and you already know. You know, by the way, her eyes drop to the folder instead of staying on your face, by the practiced softness in her voice, by the silence that follows the words, "We've decided to go in a different direction." Your hands are folded on the table, steady, because you learned a long time ago that falling apart in front of strangers never fixed anything. Somewhere across town, in a small apartment above a laundromat, your 5-year-old daughter Renly is waiting with your neighbor, sitting by the window, probably still holding the drawing she made you this morning. A stick figure man in a tie next to a stick figure girl, with the words, "You got this, Daddy," scrawled in crayon above their heads. You had put that drawing in your jacket pocket before you left. You can still feel the corner of it pressing against your ribs. You stand up slowly. You shake the hand of the woman who just ended a hope you'd been carrying for 3 weeks. You thank the man beside her, even though he barely looked up from his laptop during the entire 40-minute interview. You do not let your voice shake. You've had 4 rejections in the last 2 months, and you promised yourself after the second one that you would never let anyone in a suit see you break. Not because you don't feel it. You feel it every single time, deep in your chest, like something collapsing quietly, but because breaking in front of them would mean giving them something they didn't earn. Your pain is not for sale, not even to soften the blow. The hallway outside the interview room feels longer than it did an hour ago. Your shoes are the only sound against the marble floor, and you count your steps out of habit, a trick you picked up back when you used to run track in high school. Back when your future still looked like something you got to choose. 22 steps to the elevator. You remember the version of yourself that walked in here this morning, pressed shirt ironed on the edge of the kitchen counter, because you don't own an ironing board anymore, shoes polished with a rag and a little dish soap, because that's what works when you can't afford shoe polish. Resume printed at the library because your printer broke back in March, and you never had the spare $40 to replace it. You remember believing, that today might be the day everything turned around. The elevator doors close around you, and for 3 floors, you allow yourself exactly that much time to feel the weight of it. Not longer. 3 floors. And then you have to put your face back together before you step out into the lobby, because Renly will ask how it went the second you walk through that door, and you have gotten very good over the last 2 years at finding hope to hand her in when you have none left for yourself. The lobby is wide and cold, all glass and polished stone, the kind of place that was built to remind people like you that you don't belong in it. You walk past the reception desk, past the security guard who nods at you without really seeing you, past the wall with the company's mission statement etched in silver letters, something about integrity, about people, about building a better future together. You almost laugh, not because it's funny, because 2 months ago you believed a sentence like that might actually apply to you. You push through the revolving doors, and the outside air hits you, thick, with the smell of exhaust and the distant sweetness of a hot dog cart. 3 blocks down, your car, if you can still call it that, an old gray sedan with a check engine light that's been on so long you stopped seeing it, is parked 6 blocks away because the parking garage here charges $18 an hour. And you did the math this morning and decided against it. 6 blocks. You start walking, hands shoved in your pockets, your daughter's drawing crinkling gently against your chest with every step. You don't hear the footsteps at first. The street is loud, cars honking, a bus hissing to a stop somewhere behind you, someone laughing into their phone as they pass, but then you hear it. A voice, breathless, calling out a name that takes you a second to realize is yours. Corwin. Corwin, wait, please. You turn, more out of reflex than anything else, and you see a man jogging toward you. Tie loosened, suit jacket flapping open. No coat despite the October chill. It takes you a moment to place him, and when you do, your stomach drops in a way you don't fully understand yet. It's him, the man from the end of the table, the one who barely looked up from his laptop. Except now you notice, for the first time, the way people on the sidewalk are staring not at you, but at him, the way a young woman near the corner actually stops walking and pulls out her phone like she recognizes him from somewhere important. He reaches you, hands on his knees for a second, catching his breath, and when he straightens up, you see his face clearly for the first time. Kind eyes, tired in a way that doesn't match his tailored suit. A face that looks like it's carried more than it lets on. "I'm sorry," he says, still breathing hard. "I'm sorry, I should have said something back there, but I didn't want to do it in front of the panel. That wasn't right. What happened in there?" You don't know what to say, so you say nothing. You've learned that silence is safer than hope. "My name is Wendell," he says, extending a hand. You're too stunned to take right away. "Wendell Calloway. I own the company." Something in your chest goes very still. "I wasn't on my laptop taking notes on you," he continues, and there's an urgency in his voice now, like he's afraid you'll walk away before he finishes. "I was pulling up your file, your actual resume, because 5 minutes into that interview, I already knew Denise and Harold were going to pass on you, and I wanted to understand why. Because everything you were saying didn't match the some sitting in front of me. I don't understand." You manage, and it's the truth. Your feet feel rooted to the sidewalk. "You built an entire logistics tracking system for your last employer," Wendell says, "by yourself, after hours, unpaid, because you noticed their old system was costing them money every single week. You didn't even list it as an accomplishment. You buried it in one line. It was nothing. And when Denise asked you about a gap in your employment history, you said you left a job to take care of your daughter after her mother left, and you said it like you were apologizing for it. You feel your throat tighten. You hadn't realized anyone had actually listened to that part. "That's not a weakness, Corwin," Wendell says, quieter now, like the words matter to him personally. "That's the single most impressive thing anyone said to me all day. And I sat there in that room, watching 2 people I trust talk themselves out of hiring the best candidate we've seen in a year, because you didn't perform confidence the way they wanted you to, because you didn't have the right words for it. And I let it happen, because I didn't want to overrule my own hiring managers in the room. And then I got in the elevator, and I thought about my own father." He pauses. For a moment, the noise of the street seems to fall away. "My dad raised my sister and me alone," Wendell says. 1970ite, no help. 2 jobs, sometimes 3. Nobody gave him a chance, either. He used to say, the world doesn't reward the people who are drowning quietly. It only notices the ones who scream. And I stood in that elevator, and I thought, I'm about to become the exact kind of person my father spent his whole life resenting. So I ran. I know that's not exactly professional. I don't usually chase people down the street." A weak, surprised laugh escapes you. The first one in weeks that doesn't feel forced. "I don't have the authority to promise you the position from that room," Wendell says. "That wasn't even the right role for you, honestly. It was 2 levels below where your experience actually belongs. But I do have the authority to ask you to come back tomorrow. Sit down with me directly, and let me show you something I think you might actually want to be part of. Not because I feel sorry for you, because I think you're better than every person who interviewed you today, including myself." You stand there on the sidewalk, 6 blocks from your car, your daughter's drawing still folded against your ribs, and you don't know what to do with your hands, your face, the sudden and unfamiliar pressure behind your eyes. You spent 2 years being strong in front of everyone. Your daughter, your landlord, the unemployment office, yourself in the mirror at 4 in the morning, when the worry keeps you awake. You didn't expect the moment it finally cracked. To be here on a street corner in front of a stranger who chased you out of a building. "Why does this matter so much to you?" you ask. "Because some part of you still needs to understand it, still needs it to make sense." Wendell is quiet for a second, Because someone did this for my father. Once, he says, a man named Ezra Whitlock gave him a job. Nobody else would. Back when nobody wanted to hire a single father with 2 kids and a spotty our son. My dad used to tell us that one decision by one stranger changed the whole direction of our family. I've spent 15 years running this company, and I think today is the first time I've actually had the chance to be Ezra Whitlock for somebody. I wasn't going to let that chance walk away down the street. You think of Renly waiting by the window. You think of the eviction notice folded in the drawer beside your bed. The one you haven't told her about. The one you've been quietly negotiating with your landlord for 3 weeks. You think about how close you came an hour ago to believing that the world simply wasn't going to make room for you. Okay, you say, and your voice cracks slightly on the word, and you don't bother hiding it this time. Okay, tomorrow? Wendell smiles, and it's not the polished smile of a man used to closing deals. It's something rough when we're relieved, like he's been carrying this moment for longer than the last 5 minutes. He hands you a card with a direct number on it, not an assistant's line, his own. Call this if anything changes tonight, he says. And Corwin, whatever they told you in there, it wasn't true. You didn't fail today. You walk the rest of the 6 blocks to your car in a kind of daze. The October wind sharp against your face, and you don't even feel the cold. When you get inside, you sit for a long moment before starting the engine, staring at the card in your hand, turning it over like it might disappear if you look away. You pick Renly up from your neighbor's apartment 40 minutes later, and she runs to you the way she always does, full speed, arms out, like you've been gone for years instead of hours. Did you get it, Daddy? She asks, breathless, and you kneel down to her level, and for the first time in longer than you can remember, you tell her the truth without softening it. First, I don't know yet, baby girl, you say, but something good happened today, something I didn't expect. She studies your face the way 5-year-olds do, searching for the truth beneath the words, and whatever she finds there seems to satisfy her, because she smiles and holds up the same drawing from this morning, a little more crumpled now from being carried around all day. I knew you got this, she says simply, like it was never actually in question. That night, after she falls asleep with her stuffed rabbit tucked under one arm, you sit at the kitchen table with Wendell's card in front of you, and you allow yourself, for the first time in 2 years, to imagine a future that doesn't feel like it's being clawed out of the ground, one impossible day at a time. The next morning, you put on the same shirt, ironed on the same counter, and you walk into that same building, except this time you don't count your steps in the hallway. This time, Wendell meets you at the elevator himself, no assistant, no formality, just a handshake and a question. Did you sleep? Asked like a man who genuinely wants to know. The conversation that follows lasts 2 hours, not 40 minutes. He asks about the system you built without being asked to. He asks about Renly, about her drawings, about what kind of father you want to be 5 years from now. He tells you about a position on his logistics innovation team, one that didn't officially exist yesterday, one he created overnight, because he couldn't stop thinking about the tracking system you'd mentioned. Like it was nothing. The salary he offers you is more than double what you'd applied for the day before. You have to ask him to repeat the number, certain you misheard. I'm not doing you a favor, he says, when he sees the disbelief on your face. I'm making a business decision. The favor was almost letting you walk away yesterday. This is me correcting a mistake. You start the following Monday. The first paycheck covers the back rent and leaves something left over. For the first time in longer than you want to admit, you buy Renly a proper winter coat, the one she'd been asking about since September, the one you told her Santa might bring, because you couldn't bring yourself to say the real reason. You don't tell her it came from your first paycheck. You just watch her spin in circles in the Living room, arms out, the puffy sleeves swishing, and you let yourself cry a little quietly in the kitchen doorway where she can't see. 6 months later, you're standing in a conference room on the 9th floor, presenting a revised tracking system to a room full of people who once wouldn't have looked twice at your sum. And Wendell is sitting in the back, arms crossed, the same tired kind eyes, nodding slowly as you speak. Afterward, he catches you in the hallway, the same hallway you once counted your steps down in defeat, and tells you the system you built is going to save the company an estimated $2 million a year. Ezra Whitlock never got to see what happened because of the chance he took on my father, Wendell says, leaning against the wall, looking almost boyish for a moment. He passed before I got the chance to tell him how far it went, so I'm telling you instead. All of this happened because you didn't let a bad day in a conference room decide who you were. You think about the version of yourself walking those 6 blocks in the cold, certain the door had closed for good, certain that being a good father and a hard worker and an honest man simply wasn't going to be enough in a world that only rewards the loud and the polished. You think about how close that door came to staying shut, how much of it depended on one man deciding to run down a street instead of letting a stranger disappear into it. That evening, you pick Renly up from school, and she climbs into the car with a new drawing clutched in her hand. You and her, standing in front of a building you now recognize instantly, the words scrawled above your heads in her careful crayon handwriting. My daddy never gives up. You pin it to the fridge next to the first one. The one that's been there for 6 months now, slightly faded, the edges soft from being carried in your pocket on the worst day of your life. You stand there for a moment, looking at both of them, side by side, and you think about how sometimes the difference between the end of your story and the beginning of a new one is nothing more than someone willing to chase you down the street and ask you to turn around. And you did. You turned around, and everything after that moment became the life you'd stopped believing you were allowed to have.
Every single day, somewhere in this world, someone is fighting a quick battle, just like Corwin was. If this story moves you, please subscribe and share it. You never know who might need to hear it today. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time.